Hey, it's the Screen Team. We are almost finished with this edition of the show, and I'm being joined by my beautiful bride, Miss Sabrina J. Sabrina, it is so good to see you on this review.
It's so nice that you still see me as your bride.
Mm-hmm. It is, man.
10 years later.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. We've been seeing movies for quite a long time.
Yes, we have.
Do you remember the first movie we ever saw together?
Nope.
No, I don't either.
That's awesome.
I'm sure it was something that you probably picked. It was probably some horror film.
No.
You're like, oh, this could be so awesome.
No, at the time I couldn't persuade you to watch and do what I wanted.
But now you can?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I persuaded you to watch this film and review it. The film we're talking about is Short Circuit. Now, if you are from the 1980s, early 1990s, you're probably familiar with this particular film. Stars Ali Sheedy and Steve Guttenberg. And Steve Guttenberg was like the man back in the 80s, man. He was in everything. That ain't the case anymore.
No.
But anyway, he stars in this film as well. And this film is about a robot.
Yep.
It's about a robot that is being commissioned and produced by a government agency to be used for warfare. It's a bad robot, and they've created like 5 or 6 of these things to. Are you sure there's not more than 5?
5.
I think there's more than that, but that's
I think
all right.
there's 5.
Whatever. Anyway, they've created several of these robots to be used in combat and warfare and things of that nature. But one of the robots, which is plugged into a generator at the time of their kind of unveiling, gets hit by lightning and starts acting a little weird.
Yes, he goes rogue.
He goes rogue.
He figures
I like
out
that.
a way to follow a butterfly off of the property and down the road, and lo and behold, he's managed to escape with his nuclear or his laser weapon, whatever it is.
His laser.
His weapon is still live. And so, they're freaked out because the thing cost $2 million, and the
$11 million.
11. By the time they get it back, probably more than that. And then that his arm, his
Cannon, laser.
yeah, whatever they call that,
Yeah.
is still live, and that because he's trained to shoot anything that looks aggressive, that's a real
worry.
big concern.
Right, and they don't have control over it anymore. They had like a remote system where they could control it and tell it
Right,
what to
Gutenberg
do.
was the creator and master of these machines, and he's an antisocial person, but funny, which is strange.
Yeah.
Usually they're not funny, but he's very funny. He just doesn't want to do politics and snob hobbing or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
But he's got his sidekick, co-conspirator in the creation
Played
of
by
these
Fisher
things.
Stevens, who does like his best Indian accent.
Oh, from Pittsburgh.
My family's from Pittsburgh.
It's so funny.
It is funny, man. It is funny. So what do you think about this movie? Short Circuit, I'm assuming you saw it back in the day. Seeing it several years from that, does it still hold up?
Well, of course it does. And we actually intended to let Luke watch it, but he fell asleep in the first 5 minutes. Like father, like son.
He was like, robots, awesome. It was a tough day for him.
It was. And so anyway, so it's a family movie. There's a couple of sharp words that I wouldn't want Luke repeating, but nothing vulgar. Just, casual cussing. I guess that's how they looked at it back then.
Right.
But it's funny. Ali Sheedy grows on me. I have a hard time watching her and stuff because she's so quirky.
She was a little annoying in this one, I gotta say.
Ever since the
Breakfast Club? Yeah.
That she was perfect in, but this, it's like her again, and I have a hard time with her. Not personally, just
Her acting ability?
her quirkiness is just the same. Anyway, so I get sidetracked by that frequently throughout the earlier part of the movie, but then the character starts to grow on me the more human she becomes, I guess. But she's so endearing with number 5, who finds his way to her house after he's escaped, even though he doesn't know he's escaped anything. But anyway, so everybody, including the general and his troops, which are mainly security for this place, but they think they're in World War III or something, and so they're go, 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 you know.
Right.
And then you've got Gutenberg and his sidekick going after it on their own, and they're the president or what director of this facility, who's just this mousy, ratty person, and he's whatever it takes to save his hide. And he's playing both sides. And then you've got Stephanie. Stephanie. So she's Sheedy's character. So she is an animal lover and has this huge heart, and she takes him in and says, okay, well, you can just stay for the night. She's trying to think, she thinks he's an alien until she figures out, you know, that he's actually a piece of equipment.
Yeah, that was kind of
weird.
That was weird.
And the other part that was weird, when they were dancing.
That was awesome.
It was so
It was not, hold on a second.
cheesy.
More than a woman. They were doing it to the Bee Gees. That was amazing.
It was still cheesy.
It was not cheesy.
It was so cheesy.
It was not. I wanted to actually dance with you when that scene was going on, but then the dogs would start barking and get upset,
True.
and then Luke would have woken up, so I chose not to do that. That was a good one for me, right?
Good choice.
Good choice for me. My favorite scene in the entire film is Johnny Five, the robot. He is trying to outwit the government agency. They have unleashed the other 4 robots on Johnny Five, and he outwits them, outsmarts them. And the best line in the whole movie: "Hey, laser lips, your mama was a snowblower." Love that line, man. I've loved it ever since I was a kid.
So if you've never seen this movie, number 5 is alive because of the lightning strike, and they think he's just malfunctioning. But he has developed a conscience, a sense of humor, and a need for continuous learning. And so through all of this, he learns how to reprogram himself to keep everybody else out and from hijacking his system. And he loves Stephanie.
No disassemble.
So Stephanie and Gutenberg's character
Crosby, Crosby.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
So bad. So anyway, they're kind of flirting around and stuff, but they hate each other. So it's a love-hate relationship, but it works out.
I know how that is.
Yeah, and so number 5 decides he needs a name, and he decides it's Johnny Five, and so you constantly hear these songs that have Johnny in them throughout the movie.
Johnny, he says.
Yeah, so
ba-ba.
that's part
Check
of
out
how
the
you
song.
end up with this in the end. But his sense of humor, he's also developed from watching Three Stooges and other stuff on TV. He just watches nonstop, and he can read really fast and takes all this information, and he has a lot of great one-liners.
That he does. I have a one-liner
Unlike
too.
my husband.
I have a one-liner too. We're done. We're done with this review. We've ran out of time. She is Sabrina. I am Chris. The movie is Short Circuit. It's one of those you can find wherever you get your movies, so check it out. We are the Screen Team. We'll see you back here next Saturday at 6 p.m. And remember, we want you to know
Before you go.